Good morning. How are you? This is Dr. Farley. Today I want to go over the idea of sleep. The medical terminology is insomnia, when you don't sleep. I also have now started watching some of these new commercials on narcolepsy, which means you're awake and all of a sudden in the middle of the day you're out. This is not normal. These are just terms to describe that something's not working properly inside of you. So insomnia is not a real diagnosis. It just means you go in and you say, hey, I'm not sleeping, and they say, oh, you have insomnia. You go in and say, hey, I'm falling asleep in the middle of the day, and they say, okay, you have narcolepsy. The real question is, why is your brain and your body doing that? And I put the picture of the brain here today because the brain is always involved with sleep. When you're not sleeping, it's a dysfunction, something going on inside of the brain. You're supposed to sleep. You're supposed to have normal blood pressure. You're supposed to have bowel movements once or twice a day. If not, many times, it's a sign that the brain is breaking down. Believe it or not, alpha-synucleopathies, which is mainly Parkinson's, dementia with Parkinson's, multiple systems atrophy, even P5P, all of these neurodegenerative diseases, sometimes one of the very first things that's showing up, top 5 symptoms, early signs of neurodegeneration, is I'm not sleeping. So don't blow your sleep off as it's, oh, no big deal. I hear people all the time, oh, I just don't sleep. And then as we get older, because it's common, we start to think that it's normal. It is definitely not normal. It means your physiology is off. So I want to go over a couple basic things about sleep. Number one, if the brain's not working properly, your sleep will be off, and you have to evaluate the brain on someone that's having sleep issues. The other big one is your blood sugar levels, and then your cortisol melatonin relationship. So when cortisol goes up, melatonin goes down, and vice versa. So 3 o'clock in the afternoon, your cortisol is supposed to be highest, and your melatonin is at your lowest. 3 o'clock in the morning, your melatonin is supposed to be at its highest, and your cortisol is supposed to be at its lowest. So if you ever notice, when you do wake up, it's always between 2 to 4, and you're staring at the ceiling. And not only do you stare at the ceiling and you wake up, but you even feel a little anxious, a little bit stressed, a little bit, you feel off. The reason being is because a lot of times what's going on with the sleep, one of the main mechanisms that can throw off sleep is that we're having dysglycemia, where the blood sugar is bouncing around and not being stable. So if you eat at 5 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock at night, you don't eat again, you go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, now you got 5 hours. And now, gradually over time, your blood sugar is dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And then around 2 to 4, somewhere at that time frame, you're starting to drop to critical levels. So what does your body do? The intelligence of the system, the innate intelligence of the system, the power that made the body heals the body, says, hey, guess what? We're dropping into a critical level with our blood sugar, which is not good. So because that's a stressor, we're going to release the stress hormone called cortisol, and other adrenaline and other stress hormones. And gradually what's going to happen is that's going to raise your blood sugar. When you raise your blood sugar, you're helping solve somewhat of the problem. The only issue, though, is that when you raise cortisol, at the same time, you drop melatonin. And boom, you wake up and you stare at the ceiling. Keep in mind also, you also raise some of the other stress hormones. That's why you wake up and your heart is racing and you feel anxious and you're worried and you feel out of balance in the middle of the night and you're wondering what the heck is it. So the first thing you do with your sleep is you have something to eat substantial, like coconut milk or some other strong, heavy food, we'll call it, not a piece of fruit, right before you go to bed by 20 minutes. You do it again as soon as you wake up in the morning. And then you again eat about 4 other times throughout the day. That immediately starts to balance the blood sugar and this dysglycemia problem. Also cut back on carbs coming in total. That's cookies, cakes, soda, iced teas, white bread, pasta, and keep your more vegetables and 2 fruits a day. Try to keep them low glycemic. That will also help. So gradually over a time frame, usually within a short time, people are coming back and going, hey, doc, I can't believe it, but I've had insomnia for 2 years, for 10 years, for 20 years, and I'm sleeping. We also do many other things to help the brain work properly, but this is an easy way to look to see if this mechanism can help solve your sleep issue. And by the way, if you're not sleeping, you are majorly increasing your risk of future neurodegenerative diseases and neuropsychiatric issues like depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, and even PTSD. The brain drains at night. There's a 95% increase in brain drainage at night through your lymphatic system. And if you're not sleeping, it's not happening. So if you have neurodegeneration or neuropsychiatric issues, you better try to work on getting to sleep better. So thank you. I hope you found this informative. And as always, if you have any questions, please give the office a ring. Thanks. Have a great day.